Okay, welcome back, welcome back. Okay, this is a new video, reaction video, and this is wonderful because it says everything you need to know about before Maul Shadow Lord. So here we go. So we will answer here. Maybe I'm pretty sure I will hope to get answers about the Jedi, the new Jedi that I saw, that we saw, and also Maul's plans as well, and what happened to Dathomir. That's the war uh of Maul.
The new animated series Maul Shadow Lord is around the corner, so here's everything you need to know before watching it. The beginning. To be as prepared as possible for the show, we need to start at the very beginning. And I mean the very beginning.
Okay, sadly.
Maul was born in the year 54 BBY, which makes him about 34 years old by the time of his new show.
34 years old. Maul have 34 years old in this one right here? Yo, he looks
However, his childhood was way darker than you can imagine. Maul was born on the planet of Dathomir and was the son
Dathomir.
of the great mother Talzin. Talzin
Oh,
was a powerful Night Sister leader that was deeply connected to the dark side and was even able to use magic. However, Talzin's story with Maul would one day change for the worse. At one point, Talzin herself was actually supposed to be the apprentice to the powerful Sith Lord Darth Sidious. The two were going to rule side by side, and she and Sidious were supposed to be a formidable duo. However, that all quickly changed. One day, as Sidious met with Talzin on Dathomir, his plans shifted. The moment he laid eyes on her son Maul, he felt raw, untapped potential, and so he did the unthinkable. Instead of recruiting Talzin, he ripped Maul from her arms and took him as his apprentice instead. As a result, Talzin was heartbroken, enraged, and
now
most of all betrayed by Sidious, but of course
now I
Sidious
understand.
didn't care. From there, he took Maul as his secret apprentice and trained him in isolation for years, rebuilding him to become a powerful Sith. To tap into his dark side, Sidious put him through extreme physical torture, conditioning, and would sometimes even place him into harsh environments just to test his survival skills. At times, he would even send assassins to hunt Maul down in the woods, just to see if he could take on the challenge. However,
Jesus.
that wasn't even the worst part. Sidious also forced Maul to starve on multiple occasions and be exposed to extreme cold weather conditions. By doing this, he wanted Maul's physical body to be in the best shape possible, and to ultimately be ready for anything that came
Now I know why Maul is so good. Since the beginning, they force him.
his way. Luckily, it worked, and as the years passed, he was eventually able to turn Maul from a young innocent boy to a trained deadly Sith assassin. However,
Wow.
there was just one problem. As the years went on, Maul was getting bloodthirsty, and by that, he wanted his first Jedi kill. The first Jedi.
The first Jedi. Quagun.
After years and years of brutal training, we now fast forward to the year 33 BBY. Maul is 21 years old, and we're just 1 year before the events of the Phantom Menace.
21, yeah.
Now, although Maul was training each and every day, he was getting impatient as he wanted to kill his first Jedi. He was tired of just hiding in the shadows, and instead he wanted to feel the thrill of killing a Jedi with his red blades. So he went behind Sidious's back and in time went to go hunt for a young Jedi Padawan named Eldricadus, a young blue Twi'lek Jedi. With the help of two bounty hunters, Cad Bane and Aurra Sing, Maul was successful in capturing her, and in time the two fought head to head. By the end though, Maul had overpowered her, and after stabbing her right through her chest, Eldricadus became Maul's first Jedi kill. However, after this occurred, Sidious learned of what Maul had done. But to Maul's surprise, Sidious was impressed by him. He told Maul that defiance is the very nature of the Sith Order, and that's exactly what he embraced. The Phantom Menace.
Okay, so Qui-Gon wasn't his first kill. Okay. 21 years old, huh?
One year later, in the year 32 BBY, we then reached the events of the Phantom Menace. After years and years of hiding, Sidious was finally ready to have Maul reveal himself to the Jedi. So, he first encounters the Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn on Tatooine, and he's ready to strike. But things take a turn. Unfortunately for him, Qui-Gon was able to escape along with Obi-Wan Kenobi and the young Anakin Skywalker. Not long after though, Maul would have one more chance, and so later on the planet
Okay, let me see something. Okay, wait. Grab me here for a second. Now I understand in Rebels. If you watch Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, sorry for the how you say? Uh, okay, not the Easter egg. Jesus, trailer. Okay, I will say it. In Rebels, if you watch Rebels, when Hesra, Bridger, and Maul are grabbing not all. I was no, not Fulcrum, no Horcrux. Ah, Jesus. I think I had reported here. Maul, where they're finding where Ezra is looking for how to defeat the Jedi, the Sith. Maul, Luke, and Six, Obi-Wan Kenobi in Tatooine. That's right, he says, like the first time, because he didn't know that Obi-Wan was alive. Sorry,
Maul
taking too
fought
long
both
saying
Obi-Wan
it.
and Qui-Gon in a duel to the death. Now, although he was eventually victorious in killing Qui-Gon, his arrogance and cockiness would soon lead to his downfall. As he then had the upper hand on Obi-Wan, he began to savor the moment standing above him. But in time, Obi-Wan did a front flip and
Boom!
sliced Maul in half.
Sadly, yes, sadly, we all thought that Maul was dead after this cut.
With that, Maul had lost, and for years, many fans believed he was dead. But let's just say his story was only getting started.
Sadly,
The survival.
the survival.
Directly after his defeat, Maul then fell down the reactor shaft and was left with a choice. Give up and die right there, or channel his inner rage to survive. So, using all his hatred and anger, Maul channeled his connection to the dark side to do whatever he could to keep going. Eventually, his plan worked, and after going down the reactor shaft, he soon fell into a garbage container. This garbage container was then shipped to the planet Local Minor, and that's now where Maul's new journey began. As he
Local
arrived
Minor.
there, he tried doing whatever he could to build himself new legs, so using the Force, he pulled any nearby scraps to do so. In time, it worked, and Maul was finally able to walk again. But
Jesus.
there was one problem. Maul had no idea where he was or what to do from there, so he was trapped on this planet for many years.
So he used the Force.
12 years had passed
Wow.
since Maul arrived on Local Minor, and when all hope was lost, he was eventually found by his brother, Savage Opress. Savage was a Zabrak species just like Maul, and he was guided by Mother Talzin herself to find and locate him. However, when Savage found Maul, he was no longer the man he used to be. His mind was broken, his legs became almost spider-like, and most of all, he was obsessed with one person and one person only.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sadly. We've got him.
I must have revenge.
Maul wanted revenge on Kenobi for what he did to him, and so for 12 years, that's what kept him alive and going. So, after Savage found Maul broken, he then took him aboard his ship to return him back home, to Dathomir. From there, they arrived, and his mother Talzin reunited with their son, she restored his mind, and gave him new mechanical legs.
Sadly.
That Maul was then reborn full again, and now he would soon spread chaos throughout the galaxy.
Wow, he rise from the
The rise to power. Not long after
Let's go.
Talzin restored Maul, he and Savage Opress started causing havoc throughout the Clone Wars, causing terror, killing
all know
Jedi,
that,
and
yeah.
defeating anybody that entered their path. However, throughout all of it, Maul became only more powerful by the day, not just physically, but as a crime lord.
Sadly.
As Maul and Savage built their influence more and more, Maul formed what was called the Shadow Collective. The Shadow Collective was a large criminal alliance Maul built with
That's Bo-Katan on the left. We all know that, right? Clone
the
Wars.
following factions: Death Watch, the Black Sun,
The Black Sun,
Pike Syndicate,
the Pike
and the
Syndicate.
Hutt Cartel.
Hutt Cartel.
With all these factions under Maul's grip, he was unstoppable.
Yeah.
However, he was far from done. In time, Maul also gained control of Mandalore as he defeated the Mandalorian leader Pre Vizsla in a duel.
Wow.
From there, Maul became the leader of Mandalore and was even the new owner of the Darksaber.
The Darksaber,
As
yeah.
ruler of Mandalore, he caused even more chaos, even killing Obi-Wan's good friend and lover, Duchess Satine Kryze.
Ooh.
Maul was ruthless. He was terrifying, and most of all, he was gonna stop at no cost. The duel and escape. Not long after Maul rose to power on Mandalore, he was in for a brutal shock. As he and Savage were on Mandalore, they were visited by Maul's old master,
Sidious.
Darth Sidious. However, Sidious wasn't there to re-recruit him. Instead, he informed Maul that he had now become a rival, and let's just say he
Rival, for the reason that he gained a lot of power. It could be, you know, danger for him.
made him pay for it. As Maul and Savage then fought Sidious, it wasn't long before Sidious used his sabers to kill Savage in
Bang!
cold blood. As
Lul.
Maul witnessed this, he was horrified to see his brother's death right before his eyes, and he was enraged.
I'm not like you. I never was.
Wow.
So Maul then took Sidious one-on-one, but it didn't end well for him. In time, Sidious overpowered him as well and brought him right to the ground.
Bang.
However, instead of killing Maul, he told him that he had other uses for him.
Uses for him, yeah. Wow.
Not long after Sidious defeated Maul, he tied him to chains and imprisoned him. Now you might be wondering why Sidious didn't just kill him when he had the chance. Well, you see, Sidious was planning a few steps ahead.
I
He
want
didn't
to
care
see-
about Maul, but instead he cared about his mother. Mother
What?
Talzin. See, Sidious saw Talzin as a threat to his rule because of how powerful she was. So
But wait a second. I thought that in this Clone Wars, in this series, this how you say season, I think it's the 7, the last one. I thought Mother Talzin wasn't alive anymore.
If he didn't kill her in time, she could mess up his plans from becoming emperor soon. So to lure her out, he tortured Maul and did whatever he could so that she would seek him out. Let's just say his plan worked. Not long after, Maul's Mandalorian fleet came to rescue him, and after an almost full-blown war, Talzin and Maul were reunited. However, in a final battle with Sidious, General Grievous, and Count Dooku, Talzin sacrificed herself so Maul could escape. As he did, Grievous then broke through Talzin's barrier and stabbed her right through her chest, killing her once and for all.
I didn't
As
know
Maul
that.
witnessed this, he screamed in horror and had to be pulled away by his Mandalorians just so he wouldn't fight back. Following this, his hatred for Sidious had reached an all-time high. Within just days, he killed his brother and now his mother.
And
as a
Maul,
result,
yeah.
Maul felt shattered inside.
Wow.
However, his story was far from done.
Sadly.
The Siege of Mandalore.
Okay, we know that as well. Let's see.
After Talzin's death, Maul continued to rule over Mandalore, but over this time he was haunted by visions. These visions included Sidious rising to power and most of all, Anakin Skywalker becoming his apprentice. So, to deprive
Yeah, if you see this the episode in the season, that was surprised. I was surprised, by the way, because even though he wasn't a Jedi, he saw what happened with Anakin. The same time Ahsoka was hearing and having the vision of Anakin cutting the Windows hands and everything, you know, that the same audio from the film. Maul saw it, he sensed it.
Sidious of his apprentice, he tried to lure Obi-Wan and Anakin to Mandalore. However, to his surprise, none of them showed up, and instead, Anakin's own apprentice, Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka.
So in a desperate act, Maul tried to recruit Ahsoka so they could destroy Sidious together. After what Sidious did to him, Maul had enough, so he was determined to do whatever he could to defeat him. However, Ahsoka refused this offer, and as a result, she and Maul entered a head-to-head duel. In this fight though, Maul brought back his double-bladed saber. For a while now, he was mainly using the dark saber and a single-bladed red saber, but now it was back to his iconic doubled one. He did this by fusing a single-bladed one and the assassin Asajj Ventress' saber together. Although we don't know how he obtained her saber, it made for the perfect blade to fight Ahsoka.
Wait, is that Asajj Ventress saber? Wait.
Unfortunately though, it wasn't
no.
enough. He did this by fusing a single-bladed one and the assassin Asajj Ventress' saber together. Although we don't know how he obtained her saber, it made for the perfect blade to fight Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Unfortunately though, it wasn't enough. By the end of their fight, Ahsoka defeated Maul.
Ahsoka did a great job.
However, as Maul was locked up and was soon ready to stand trial, that's when everything changed.
Sadly. Look.
Order 66 and the Rise of the Empire.
And the Rise of the Empire.
As Maul was imprisoned aboard the cruiser, the famous command Order 66 was then executed by Sidious.
Execute Order
666.
With this command, every single clone trooper turned against the Jedi, and chaos was spread throughout the galaxy. All these clones performed this order because of the inhibitor chips that were inside their heads. These chips were secretly programmed inside the clones since birth, and were all part of Sidious's grand plan to use them as a weapon. Now, terror spread everywhere, including the cruiser that Maul was kept captive on. In a rare act though, Ahsoka freed Maul from his cell, and he then slaughtered every clone trooper in sight, all without a weapon. On top of that though, he also destroyed every generator
that was insane from Maul,
causing massive destruction aboard the ship. As a result, the ship began to crash land, and so Maul had to act fast. Using his quickness, he was able to escape to a nearby shuttle and leave the cruiser before it was destroyed. From there, Maul escaped, and he lived to see another day. Not long after Order 66, the Republic was no more, and the Galactic Empire rose to power, all under Sidious's command. The Jedi were then labeled as traitors, and Sidious used what were called Inquisitors to hunt each and every one of them down. These Inquisitors were mostly former Jedi themselves, but to avoid themselves being hunted, they chose to help the Empire. However, as Maul witnessed this Empire rise to power, it wasn't the Sith legacy that he expected. The galaxy became something colder, more controlled. This was not what he expected nor wanted, which is now where we enter the events of Maul Shadow Lord. Maul Shadow Lord. The show Maul Shadow Lord takes place in the year 18 BBY, which is 1 year after Order 66. At this point, Maul has been on the run for the past year and watches the Galactic Empire took control of the galaxy. Now at the time of this video, the show hasn't been released yet, but here's what we know so far. The focus of the show will center around Maul as he tries to rebuild his criminal underworld empire. By doing so, he's convinced that his criminal empire could be a major threat against Sidious, and he could be the one to take control of the galaxy. However, he won't be doing it alone. Throughout it, he'll be recruiting a new apprentice named Devin Azara, who's a Twi'lek Jedi Padawan. Many fans speculate that this Padawan could actually be Darth Talon. Who Darth Padawan? It alone. Threat against criminal underworld empire.
Wait. Okay. Now we're here.
The show Maul Shadow Lord takes place in the year 18 BBY, which is 1 year after Order 66. At this point, Maul has been on the run for the past year, and watches the Galactic Empire took control of the galaxy. Now at the time of this video, the show hasn't been released yet, but here's what we know so far. The focus of the show will center around Maul as he tries to rebuild his criminal underworld empire. By doing so,
Okay.
he's convinced that his criminal empire could be a major threat against Sidious, and he could be the one to take control of the galaxy. However, he won't be doing it alone. Throughout it, he'll be recruiting a new apprentice named Devon Azara, who's a Twi'lek Jedi Padawan.
Devon
Many fans
Azara.
speculate that this Padawan could actually be Darth Talon. If you don't know who
Okay.
Darth Talon is, she was originally created by the maker himself, George Lucas, and she was supposed to have a major role in his sequel trilogy. Episodes 7, 8, and 9 would have had Maul as the master and Talon as the apprentice, and together they would have been criminal masterminds causing chaos.
So could be her, huh? Wow.
However, while we never got to see that trilogy, many are convinced this show could take some heavy inspiration from those ideas. Whether or not this new Twi'lek is Darth Talon is still unknown, but we can assume she might have a similar role as his apprentice. Now on top of that, Maul will also be fighting up against two main Inquisitors in the show. As we just mentioned, the Inquisitors were Jedi hunters, but they clearly also see Maul as a threat. In it, we see him fight the First Brother, or also known as Marok. And
Marok.
also the 11th Brother,
Yeah.
or also known as the Crow.
The
Both
Crow.
these Inquisitors each side of their projects, so Maul
Exactly.
Shadowlord will be a prequel to their deaths. And we get
Sadly, you see, all of them, both of them, they got what they deserve with Ahsoka, by Ahsoka.
to see how they interact with Maul. However, that's not all. In the show, Maul will still have a lot of his loyal Mandalorians by his side, including one Mandalorian named Rook Cass. On top of that, it seems he's
Oh.
also recruited a lot of his kind, the Zabrak species. In the trailers, we see a few Zabraks by his side, so it could be that he's really trying to do whatever he could to challenge
Sabrath. I think that was his species, right?
Sidious's power. According to Maul's voice actor Sam Witwer, he gave a bit of insight on what to expect for the show. He shared that Maul is a Force user who comes from a time of magic and knights, so watching the Empire rise to power completely drains all the magic out of the galaxy. It's also been shared that while Maul won't be a hero in this story, it'll be more of a case of bad guys against badder guys. Now that's what we know of Maul Shadowlord, but Maul's story isn't quite done yet. The later years. 8 years later in the timeline, we see Maul make a cameo in the movie Solo. At this point, he was successful in rebuilding his criminal network and was the leader of the syndicate called Crimson Dawn. While the details are still vague, we do know that he commanded this syndicate and even used a brand new lightsaber. Unlike his old saber though, this one had an Inquisitor hilt. So to obtain this, we can only assume he defeated one Inquisitor at one point and claimed it as his own. There's a
Exactly.
high chance it could belong to one of the Inquisitors in the show, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Uh-huh. Wow. Okay, we
Once
know
again,
that.
8
The
years
end.
later, we see Maul make an appearance in the show Star Wars Rebels.
Rebels.
By this point, he's still been laying low for many years and was now 52 years old. During this time,
52 years old? A move like that?
he still has
Whoa.
that same Inquisitor blade that we saw in Solo, but let's just say he wouldn't have it for much longer. After manipulating and tricking a young Jedi named Ezra Bridger, Maul was able to use him to learn where his old enemy was hiding, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sadly. Kenobi.
Over these years, Maul still carried much hatred for Obi-Wan, and so he wanted to find him. In time, his journey led him to the sand planet of Tatooine, and after
Tatooine.
days and days of searching, he was eventually in luck. Soon, he finally came face to face with Obi-Wan for one final duel. However, as he approached him, he wondered why he chose Tatooine of all places. Then it hit him. Obi-Wan wasn't protecting something here, but instead he was protecting someone.
Someone. Yeah.
Yes, someone was Luke Skywalker.
Luke Skywalker.
The son to Anakin Skywalker. So, Maul and Obi-Wan engaged in a duel, and within mere seconds,
Woof.
Obi-Wan tricked Maul and defeated him. Maul and Obi-Wan
That was Qui-Gon stance,
engaged in
by
a
the
duel,
way.
and within
Bang! You see the same. Boop. What he did to Qui-Gon, he couldn't do it with Obi-Wan because he want Maul's to do it again.
mere seconds, Obi-Wan tricked Maul and defeated him.
2 seconds.
With that, Maul collapsed to the ground, and as he did, he asked,
Tell me, is it the
Chosen one?
He is.
I thought that was Anakin, but at the end was Luke Skywalker. The way they put it here.
He
Will
will
avenge.
avenge us.
As Maul said this, he then let out his final breath, and that was the end of his story. However, although we never saw this on screen, it was later revealed that Obi-Wan wanted to honor Maul even though they were rivals. So
Sadly.
by doing so, he gave Maul his own funeral pyre, kind of like what
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. He honored him, so that was good.
Qui-Gon had when he
By
died.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan believed that Maul deserved an honorable ending, and it's safe
Yeah.
to say he did.
He was good. He was good. Hey, Maul, for being a Sith Lord, then no Sith Lord, bro, he was a pretty good rival, for real.
So
Great
with
one.
That concludes Maul's story and everything you have to know before watching Maul Shadowlord. But I want to know from you, where does Maul rank among your favorite Star Wars characters? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Thank
always.
you. Wait, that was awesome, huh? Awesome video. So what was the name of the Jedi? Oh, I'm so sorry. No, no, no. Okay, here, see here.
Show Maul Shadow Lord takes place in the year 18 BBY, which is 1 year after Order 66.
1 year after Order 66. 1 year after Order 66. So it means, as I say, he escaped from Ahsoka, as we did here, as we saw here, and then this happened 1 year after Order
At
66.
this point, Maul has been on the run for the past year and watches the Galactic Empire took control of the galaxy. Now, at the time of this video, the show hasn't been released yet, but here's what we know so far. The focus of the show will center around Maul as he tries to rebuild his criminal underworld empire. By doing so, he's convinced that his criminal empire could be a major threat against Sidious, and he could be the one to take control of the galaxy.
Okay.
However, he won't be doing it alone. Throughout it, he'll be recruiting a new apprentice named Devon Azara, who's
Devon Izara. Devon Izara, probably for what he say here, Devon
a Jedi
Izara.
Padawan. Many fans speculate that this Padawan could actually be Darth Talon.
Okay, and it makes sense. Looks like her. It can change, right? Tattoos or whatever. Darth Talon. Devon Izara. Okay, yeah, it could probably be her.
Who's
It
a
could
Twi'lek
probably be
Jedi
her.
Padawan. Many fans speculate that this Padawan could actually be Darth Talon. A major role in it, and together they would have. The show could take some, but we can assume she might have a similar role as we just mentioned, brother or Twi'lek as Darth Talon is still unknown.
So
But
we
we can
know
assume
her
she might
name already.
Have a
Devon
similar role as his
Izara.
apprentice.
Devon Izara. Devon Izara. Well, thank you so much for watching. This is all my questions that I have are clear. So 1 year after Order 66. Yo. 1 year after the siege of Mandalore with Ahsoka, escape from Ahsoka, and now this. Awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for watching with me. Any questions, any doubts, please leave it in the comments. Thank you so much. Bye bye.